All right, round two of the Friday qualifier. We have Eric counts on the left and Carl. Ooh, what's his last name?
Carfino.
Caraf- Carafino? Big Carl. It's Big Carl on the right playing the Cassock, what they deemed the Cadillac deck, which is Spawn, Scarlet Witch, and the Jammers, versus Eric Count's new take on the Cadillac with Scarlet Witch Jammers, but instead of Spawn, he has the Ray with the big draw 3.
So I've played this deck. It looks like the deck he played against me in the semifinals in Oklahoma last year. And he's looking to, just get that defense out and kind of overwhelm you with his extra draws. So he's got an event. He's playing the Dark Phoenix mission. I think this is going to allow both people to move any attacks on the front line to the reserve. They can either let it hit or defend it. I'm going to confirm that that's which event that is. Give me 1 second as I go through the missions. And then Carl is playing a classic Cadillac deck, but he is playing Josh Alexander's version of it. So this is the Hellfire Club attacked event that Eric put out. Any attack made on a frontline hero may be moved to reserve hero who may defend. So you can see them, they're probably both going to at some point move one or two hits out. Now, Eric's got a great opening hand here. He's got his negate, he's got his 6 or less avoid, he's got a draw 3, and he's got an 8 any power card. He's got an artifact out that's going to allow one of his other heroes to attack, or wait, Mirror Symbiote is defend, correct?
Yes, I think the Witchblade is the attack.
So it'll allow one of the, so he's probably going to play it on Jammers to allow them to defend with those 7 and 8 energy power cards. He's also got a card that he hasn't exposed yet. He's got Spontaneous Combustion in his hand. So he's looking for Carl to place a big card, and he'll use that to get rid of it.
It's a slow card, but if I'm not sure who has initiative, but if he does have initiative, that's definitely something he's probably going to lead with. Maybe if he doesn't have a negate or a draw or a big bomb, he'd probably get rid of that teamwork to take some of Carl's speed away.
Is that the negate that he plays to Scarlet Witch? I think it is. He's probably going to target that immediately just to give his draw 3 the path to
Oh,
success.
absolutely. I didn't see the negate, so you're absolutely right.
Now, what you might see, though, after he does that, Carl has the Gemini placed. The Gemini is in any character card. It's one of the BMG ones. It works exactly like Web-Headed Wizard used to work. So Carl can play that and then go get a card out of his dead pile. So you may see him negate the discard a placed card and then just immediately go get the negate to ward against the draw 3. Oh, he goes directly for the Gemini. Interesting.
That is very interesting. So it maybe that isn't the negate place to Scarlet Witch.
He may just want to keep his placed cards and get out of this battle. He's got a 6 in his hand. Oof. Taking a lot of damage on the Jammers right away. That's rough. And then he's just going to concede.
That is interesting that if that event was in play, he didn't just shift to Doctor Strange to take some of the pressure off.
I bet and this is one of the reasons I am a big proponent of putting the events in the middle of the table. I think it's way too easy to forget that one's in play. And I guarantee that's what happened there with Eric, or he would have just shifted at least one, if not both of those there.
Yeah, a play like that could cost someone the game or even the tournament. You got to put that on. You got to put that out in the open.
Now, he got very lucky. He drew his event, remove 1 hit from everyone with an inherent. It did not benefit Carl, but it took the 7 off Starjammers. Carl's going to respond by placing his draw 3 with the Starjammers. So now he's representing the same amount of draw 3, and they both have a negate placed.
Very interesting.
So
that's kind of a stalemate. If you both have negates and both have draw 3s, it comes out to what else can you throw? And it looks like Eric's got a bunch of teamwork.
he's got the 6 or less for Doctor Strange. He's also got his Merlin in his hand. So he opts to place it. I think that's the right play. He also could have kept it in his hand, and then sometimes what I like to do is play the negate on a different special card that's placed to try to bait them into using the draw 3, and then I'll have the Merlin in hand to get rid of that as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. But it looks like Carl only has two cards in hand, so he might think Carl's going to run. So he probably was just like, "Well, I'm not going to be able to use it this battle. Best to place it and use it later on."
Yeah, I think that's exactly right, and I think that's also the right mentality. I think, you're never going to be upset about having access to both those negates later. He's getting a power card out on the Starjammers. Again, he's securing the ability to do those teamwork follow-ups, and you always want to be representing that if you can. Carl's doing the same thing. Spawn has a teamwork on him, but he's making sure he can throw two follow-ups. He can throw the 3 from Scarlet Witch and the 6 or the 5 from the Starjammers.
Now,
So
here's a question, Joe. He placed the six energy to the Star Gem. Isn't that symbiote costume can be defended? So wouldn't that power card have to be placed on somebody else?
he can use anything usable by them for defense.
Oh, is
Um,
that correct? Okay.
Yeah, that's the way that that's worded. So he can place that there, but he's not going to be able to attack with it later.
Well, Eric is doing the right thing. He sees Carl isn't placing anymore. He probably feels like he's going to run, so Philip was placed off.
All right, I'm going to give you the oracle text. Teammate may play any power card currently usable by frontline for defense.
Oh, so absolutely can play that.
Yep.
Nice.
He just has to
Now,
remember he can't offensively use it.
now it looks like Eric has one of the new BMG promo any heroes in his hand. Is that correct? The
Uh
Princess and the Pea.
it looks like it, which that is a opponent is or it's your +5 to venture. But Eric's just going to choose to go one and run. So that promo will go to the discard pile. Carl's going to move some more missions to the top. Now this is a tough place to be in against the Cadillac. You know,
Yeah,
Eric's got a very good amount of cards placed, but Carl's not that far behind. In fact, I think Eric's got one more card than him placed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 6, 7, 8. So Eric's only up by a card, but he's put the Cadillac in a position where it can go 3 to win. And we all know that
absolutely.
that's a
Yeah.
tough place to be in versus a classic Cadillac like that.
And with betting one and run gives Carl initiative. And since Eric opted for the Ray in his draw three, he doesn't have that extra defense that Spawn brings. So he's going to have to absorb Carl's first volley. And hopefully he has enough to counter and defend. So,
Now, Eric definitely has some bombs in his hand.
oh, absolutely.
He has Lady of the Lake, which is his any character draw 3. So he has a second draw 3 in hand. He's got his 9 half multi from the Ray. Unfortunately, there's no hits on Carl's team, so it's not going to create a lot of KO pressure. He's also got his discard a placed card. So he could try to get rid of the negate and have 2 draw 3s that'll go through. He could just target the draw 3 and see if Carl's in a position where he wants to defensively negate it. Um,
So he has a draw three in his hand, a nine,
yep.
discard a place, and does he even have his uh, new power leech?
I believe what you're seeing is the 7 intellect. It's the version
Ah,
of the gamma base, but
yes,
it's
I
the
see it now that he revealed it. You are correct.
mm,
Now Carl just goes one. Is that correct? He just went one.
yeah, gotta see his hand move. Yeah, it looks like he just went 1, maybe 2. But he's gonna start off with that place teamwork and just start to put the pressure. Eric immediately uses the spell of protection, blocks a 6 or less with Doctor Strange. Carl follows up with this. This is going to be a level 4 attack. Now, if I'm him, I immediately use that 6. But Eric chooses to use the 5 multi and worry a little bit more about the venture. But when you can only use the 6 defensively, I think you just eat that extra point of venture and use it up.
Yeah. Well, again, remember, Carl just went one. He might think that play from his hands, keep the place card for next battle.
Maybe. You could be right. So he's going to target the draw 3. I imagine you're going to see that pull the negate. Yep. Now, what Eric wants to not have to do here is use those big placed cards. He's going to want to be able to mitigate this enough that he can use the draw 3 from hand, but it's going to be tough. So the 3 ally hits, and then
Ooh,
Spawn is going to make a 4 multi attack. Ooh, this could go real bad. This is about this.
absolutely. Now, since he has that any hero negate placed, yeah, perfect.
Yep.
Definitely a
That's,
time to use the negate because you know you're going to get more.
and
You
he
want to
knows
stop his speed.
he can't. If he doesn't negate the 4, he can't block the 8 that's going to inevitably follow it up. So I agree. It feels bad when it's only 4 venture to use a negate, but it completely slows Carl down. And now I'm going to be honest. I fire off that draw 3 if I'm Eric. Yeah, just
And there he
make
goes.
make the Ray less of a valuable target. He
He has
dupes on the
one
3
dupe.
multi. He gets a second card that's a keeper and a Gambit activator. Or no, sorry, that's
No, it's
the
a seven
7
seven
energy.
energy.
It looks like he drew another negate in his hand as well.
Fantastic.
So now he's got 2 more negates. So now he could really try to use the Merlin and sneak it out. Now the problem though too is Carl has got that he's got the spell of protection on Doctor Strange. He can block an attack of 6 or less. He just drew his draw 3 from Select the Slain. And he's got the Any Hero Avoid.
Sorry, Joe. Can you remind us what's the select this lane do?
Select This Lane was one of the promo cards this year. It works exactly like With Great Responsibility from Spider-Man. Except it only allows you to look at the top 5 cards. But you look at the top 5 cards of your deck, you reveal anyone that you want, and you put it in your hand. Carl revealed that he took his Any Hero draw 3 cards. So Eric fired in with that 9, just trying to get some venture. Carl used the Any Hero Avoid. I think Carl played his confusion offensively to make him discard a placed card. Or that was the Scarlet Witch one. I missed which one.
I think it was the Scarlet Witch one.
Eric is just firing a straight 1. Carl takes it and he fires back a Raza on the Starjammers.
That's a great play because what what Carl doesn't know is that Eric has another negate. So he's burned through 2. He's most certainly going to do his draw 3, and then so that's 3 bombs taken out by negates.
Yep. And I think Carl, if you're Carl, you fire the draw 3 exactly. And Eric, you have that negate in your hand. You use it. Yep. So we saw that coming. That's pretty devastating for this hand versus Carl. But we know Carl also has another draw 3 in his hand. I'm surprised Eric isn't fishing for more defense, but he's throwing the 8 out there. He kind of knows it's going to get in at this point. Yeah, I think we're just going to see draw 3, draw 3. Carl draws 3.
So it was 2 draw 3s and a Raza this hand,
Yeah.
and it's only for 1 venture.
So Carl gets a power card, a couple other cards I don't see, but yeah, exactly like I thought. Eric's gonna fire right back, and he's gonna reload his hand as well. Keeper, keeper. Oh, so we are back in the thick of it. These guys both have a bunch of cards in their hand. It looks like they both all got power cards mostly. Oh, he had confusion. So We all call it confusion. That is Captain Hook, but the new Captain Hook avoids a teamwork attack and prevents any follow-ups.
And I believe that's named Bewilder or Bewilderment.
Bewilderment. So Eric, now they're just throwing, they're just swinging for the fences. Eric throws a
Yeah.
power card. Carl defends. Carl throws the Sorcerer Slam, 6 strength attack. Eric uses that placed 6. Now Carl has 3 placed cards to
Three
Eric's none.
play. Yes, exactly. So Carl, bet one, has worked through Eric's placing advantage, knows he's down 2 cards in his hand to 4. Since there's only one venture, this is a perfect time for Carl to run and just live to fight another day.
He throws the 7. Carl's got to spawn 9 or less avoid, and then Carl concedes. He's gonna fight his battle next turn. So Carl
Oh, he
moves his
did go
2 to the
2,
bottom. Yep.
but the damage has been done with the Cadillac. Having a placing advantage is good as gold.
Now Carl has managed to survive through some bombs from Eric's side, but I don't think we've seen any of Eric's Starjammer stuff come through, have we? Has Eric? I haven't seen his Araza or the
Just
11. Did we see the draw
no,
3
just
from Eric?
no. We've seen his any hero draw 3 in the Ray, so just the 8.
Yeah, so Carl's got to deal with Starjammers. He's still got a lot of heat. Where Eric has gotten through the any hero draw 3 and the Raza and the Starjammers draw 3. So there's not really a lot of big one protects that Carl's bringing at this point. Carl's gonna have to really hope he just starts to get the teamwork pressure to keep Eric on the defensive. Discard a place card is always annoying at this point in the game.
And it looks like there's his draw 3. Yep.
Carl's placed the 4, make an additional attack and strength on the home base. It's interesting to see. We haven't seen 2
Yeah,
people playing Team Overpower against each other in a while, and I think that says a lot about the evolving meta of the game.
absolutely. Now Eric is going to want to place that 3, but said Scarlet Witch has the discard placed. He does have initiative, so you might want to lead with that. But yeah, you don't want to place it and lose it.
Yeah, that puts
It's too
Eric in a
important.
it puts Eric in a really tough place because this isn't really a fight that Eric wants to fight either.
No. So he's doing a little counting, see where he is. He might even have a feeling that Carl places out and runs, and he
I've,
loses his draw 3.
I've got that feeling. I think I place it. I think I just
Yeah,
placed it and then make
I
him use
haven't.
it.
Yeah, I have initiative. I'm going to place it. If you run, I have it for next battle.
Yep.
If you stay, I use it, and then you run.
He didn't place it. Eric goes 2. Yeah, I think in that situation, Eric needed to go 1 more. I would have gone for the 3rd one and given Carl the card.
Mm.
I don't think Carl was fighting that one with the lack of defense that he had. All right, doesn't look like Carl's got any duplicates. Eric's got some power cards. Looks like he's got another negate.
He has a Fortress of Solitude. He can venture to and concede without affecting the missions.
Yep, that's the new version is Hades, Lord of the Underworld. He must be
Thank
running.
you.
He must be running 4 negates because that's another Scarlet Witch negate. I believe that's the 4th one that we've seen. And now Eric has just placed Select the Slain, so he can go dig for a card. And Carl matches him with another 11. He's got his Starjammers 11 out.
Mm. Cadillac is doing Cadillac things. It's very hard to get out from under it. Unfortunately.
So this may be the first time you're seeing the card that Carl just played. That card on Scarlet Witch that looks like a teamwork but only has 2 lines, that is the new BMG 7 Any Power promo. So it takes 7 of any type to use it and acts as a level 6 attack. You can make one follow-up attack at +0 of any power type, and then a second follow-up at +1 of any power type. Those don't count to Spectrum, but the advantage is you can fire off 2 big power cards in a matching power type. So sometimes it really lets you put that cumulative pressure on. But this is that's a new promo. This is the first event that it's legal for.
Yes, and unlike its six any power type, this one is a one per.
Exactly. So it will get dinged if someone's playing Maximum Carnage and has that no one per deck event. So so Carl's got he's got his Merlin in hand to negate. It'd be interesting to see. We may see him negate that select the slain. I think we're seeing that card. I think is the most played of the promos that we're seeing so far.
So it looks like it's 15 cards to Eric's 12. So he says a 3 card advantage. You're going to probably, with the 11 and the heat he has, he's probably going to venture, do some pretty big betting here.
The only thing I'm a little confused right now, Carl looks to have the 4 any character make an additional attack placed, as well as the 7. I think he's made a mistake and thought the 4 was his aspect, his green aspect, but it's actually his other any character card. So he has 2 specials right now placed to that home base.
That's a good eye. I absolutely, yeah, you're absolutely correct. He made an error. And even someone as seasoned as Carl is not immune to play mistakes.
I like that. So Eric targets his 11 with the spontaneous combustion. That will draw the Merlin. And this won't end up really mattering because Carl fires it off as his first attack, so it could have just as easily come from his hand. Um, so he's going to do the 4 make an additional. We don't know who it's from. I'm going to guess Jammers, but unless he
I
wants to
used
throw that heavy weapons.
uses a 7 any to block.
Oh, it's coming
Mm.
from Spawn. So this will be finite power from Spawn. He's looking to lock out the offensive ability of a character. So finite power is Spawn's only one per deck that sees a lot of play. It says target character may only attack if he discards 2 cards. Cards may be placed to that character or in hand.
It's a
Um,
very powerful card. The original iteration of the Cadillac didn't play this because it doesn't directly affect Venture. And I just thought that was always a huge oversight because it's such a powerful card that must be dealt with.
yeah, it is. It is absolutely a card that has to either be avoided or is a lot of times a hand winning card. So I will agree with that. I think if you're playing Spawn, you have to be playing that card.
It looks like that he's just going to take that follow up because it's just a 2 same suit. Eric apparently heard the commentating from the last game and is just
Yep.
opting to get that cumulative.
And I don't mind it. It's an awkward position because it's only putting him at 11 and the Ray is already used as 9. So it's not buying him much, but I still think sometimes, you know, Carl's deck is super defensive. I think with all the teamworks, you just go for the cumulative.
Yeah. And this late in the game, you don't have that many hands. It's probably not that much opportunity to be poking and chaining little hits. So just go for the cumulative.
Yep. So Eric takes some big damage on his characters, but he does manage to play Hades, Lord of the Underworld. That returns
Mm.
all the cards to the piles they were ventured from, and Eric will concede the battle. So Carl is going to get to go first, but Eric isn't going to lose those missions that he ventured. So they're going to start their venture from the same position as last battle.
And I think that was a perfect time to draw that as well because I think Carl did venture pretty heavy.
Carl lost his 8 multi off the Scarlet Witch. Eric's got a decent hand. So Eric's got the Gemini. I think you can almost guarantee he's going to use that to get a draw 3. He's also got the 8 multi for Scarlet Witch in his hand. So he's got a little bit of heat. Carl's got some teamworks. He's got his 8 any power for the Starjammers. He's got a 6 energy. Um, he's still threatening to get rid of a placed card with that spontaneous combustion.
We're just seeing what the Cadillac does. If you have initiative and you're staring at a bunch of teamworks with possible 2 follow-ups and team defense to deal with your return volley, it's very hard. Eric is probably wishing he had a little more defense to fall back on right now.
Now, Eric, I just spotted, does have the full Avoid Guardian Angel in his hand, and he placed the 11. So, yeah, that 11 is actually a kill shot now on the Starjammers.
Yeah, you're right. So I guess placing that 2 on the Starjammers was a fantastic idea.
I do think he already had 9 hits on him, so the 11 was
Oh,
a kill,
you're absolutely
but
right.
I still don't hate it. I mean, I don't hate getting him to a point where, you're doing so many 6s from that team with the teamworks. Just get him to a point where a teamwork's going to kill him any way you can. The chances that at this far into the game, you're really going to get a second character in a way that affects a lot of the discards is pretty rare. I mean, you could make the argument to get it on spawn and try to punch through his 2 8s later and mess his grid up, but I I think I would put it on the Starjammers and just pile as much on there as I could.
Absolutely. And that 11 you said is a kill shot unless he has a negate in his hand. That is going to hit because I believe he already used his any hero avoid.
He uses Guardian Angel. All right.
And
Well, he's
he
gonna.
and
So Carl immediately gets rid of the 11 because he knows.
yeah.
And then Eric's gonna do what the deck does. He's gonna try to put pressure on him with a teamwork string. Carl chooses to block with the 6 fighting. Eric's gonna follow up with a multi-power power card that will not be for the kill. And that's maybe why he's second guessing it. That'll put him at 15, and as I said, any teamwork card hit after that'll be for the kill.
Or any icon that's not intellect.
Yep.
So he used his spell of protection from reserve. And I believe he only has a spawn 9 or less avoid. So he might have to he might be sacrificing jammers, throwing that ally, getting the 11 out there, uh, and just knowing that the jammers have done what they need to do and they can uh, be sacrificed.
Absolutely. So Carl eats the same thing. He fires that 11 at the Ray. Eric has his any hero avoid to stop it. I think I would just keep firing in with the teamworks and keep the pressure on. He's not at risk of losing Scarlet Witch, I don't believe. Maybe. I'd be surprised if Carl goes for Scarlet Witch at this point.
Well, she does have a multi honor. I don't know what the other hit is underneath her, but she very well could be KO'd by the next icon.
I think Carl's out of defense at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, 2 teamworks from hand. It's too much. Staring at 3 more place teamworks. Yeah, that's
Oh,
a Cadillac.
he's gonna go aggressive though. He's gonna try. He's got a lot of openings and a lot of weakness, but he's gonna represent strength and just try to put Eric on his heels. So Eric cannot defend the aspect and the Ray goes down. Now we all know in situations like this, it's hard when you know you can't defend the other characters. You just have to get out of there.
It's an 8 any. I don't know what Scarlet Witch's first hit is, so I believe that's not for the kill.
This is brutal. They're just not,
Yeah.
neither one of them, both refusing to back down. So Eric's going to see if he can come back. Unfortunately, Eric can kill the Starjammers now. Carl's basically got every card that they had in the deck.
And he lost placed cards to the Ray, whereas Jammers had none. So if the battle were to end now, Carl's definitely a placing advantage.
For sure. And we see that Carl can complete that teamwork string. I mean, I just don't see a version of this where Eric doesn't lose his entire front line. Now he opts to use the 8 and get it out there. I love that idea. He's got the option for the additional attack off the A next. He's almost certainly going to run. He puts a little pressure on Starjammers. They both know that he can't defend an 8 now. But I think
He might be,
Carl,
yeah, he might be bluffing with that card in his hand. Yeah, if you throw a teamwork 2 hit combo, 1 card place out in his hand, he can't defend both of them.
but yeah, exactly. But Carl can do that math too, and he's going to do the same thing right back. So I think we're
Yeah.
going to see a lot of carnage here. So that's going to take out Scarlet Witch.
Now, Eric does get 5 to venture, so that's why she's staying out.
Yep, her inherent ability when she dies, she grants -5 to the opponent. But Carl's got this 2 intellect coming in too, so he can also put jammers in a. Well, what's going on? Why didn't he do the follow up? Did we miss the follow up attack, or did he
I
just not?
don't believe we did. I don't believe he did. I think there was chaos with taking the cards and flipping Scarlet Witch that they just didn't do a follow up.
That's rough for Carl because he could be throwing that 2 directly at
Yeah.
Starjammers, and for Eric would have been forced to. Well, I guess he wouldn't have been forced to. He could have taken it, but God, he's not really going to want to take another one. He's probably going to use his 8 to defend.
So he went and got his 11.
I,
Huh. He must be. I don't know. I
doesn't he
don't
have
know.
an? I'm sorry, but doesn't he have an 8 and a 6 on his record right now?
No, he has a. I think
The
that's the
mirror,
6 Zeus, and that's the
the
yeah, that's
symbiote.
the
Okay.
symbiote. But can he defend with that 8 now that there are no frontline characters?
What do you mean?
So the symbiote says that he can be defended by a power card from that's usable by a frontline teammate.
No, you're exactly right. During that battle, he had essentially shut the 8 down because Doctor Strange was still on the reserve. When he comes up now, it'll re-enable it to be able to be used defensively only.
So
But
I'm
he's gonna.
confused. Did he get the 11 and then Carl just ran?
Yep, Carl conceded.
Hmm.
Which again, Carl's in a very good spot. Like I said, I'd be surprised if he has a single card left in there for Starjammers. And Eric's gonna have attrition from 2 full characters now. So I think this is where Carl's doing fine on Venture. I think he just needs to lean on him.
Yeah, and he's up 4 to 2 play slots, placed cards. So yeah, absolutely.
All right, people are shuffling their power packs. This game has gone pretty far. All
And
right. I think
Eric went to grab a liquid death.
yeah, it looks like Eric is gonna take a quick breather for a second. Um, so
Well, yeah, you're seeing exactly what the Cadillac does. It's aggressive. It's got defense. It's one of the best decks in the game, and you just saw them beating on each other unmercifully.
so Eric has stepped away. I assume we've just got need to use a judge to ask a judge question or something along those lines. So we'll hold off for a little bit here, but we've got an interesting match going on here. I do think Carl's got a pretty commanding attrition lead. He's going to be able to put a lot of pressure on Eric. Eric's going to have to really hope that he gets some kind of pressure on the eights. If Doctor Strange goes down, Starjammers can't really use any of the energy cards. That's game over. So I think if I'm Carl, I'm just going to be looking to like make some, low vet your bets, don't give him an advantage, and just absorb everything I can to get hits on Doctor Strange. Just try to get rid of the eight.
Absolutely, and you've got a teamwork place. You've got speed. You've got two frontline characters that can place the follow ups. You attack the grid. You're absolutely right.
hmm Looks like Carl's talking to someone about the delay. This must be the overpower equivalent to icing the kicker.
That must
Eric
be,
Eric's icing Carl so that he can't he
which
doesn't
is
know.
it's yeah, it's a risky play because those you watching at home don't know. Carl's actually punched a man for doing that one.
I don't think that's true.
It's not true. Made it up. Shouldn't have said it.
All right, so Eric is back. He looks like he only has a few cards, and he's also going into his power pack. So the other situation that is really bad for Eric here is Eric cannot attack with that A. So if Carl just guns for Doctor Strange is essentially a max 7 character, and Carl is in a position where he never has to see one of those eights offensively again. If he just refuses to attack the Starjammers, that eight is a dead card, and Eric essentially will never have another 8 power card to play
You're
offensively.
you're absolutely right. And with Eric being in the power pack and Carl has two sevens placed, yeah, you block one, the other one's going to get through. I don't see it an easy path forward for Eric.
Now, I think if Carl really plays this properly, he's just going to be able to.
Well,
Yeah,
we
Eric.
we speak. Eric just drew the arguably two strongest cards in his hand that in his deck that aren't draw threes. So if he could venture for the win, he should do so.
Yep, because I think we're so far down the rabbit hole now. I don't think Carl can defend either of those cards. If he can go for the win, I think he opens with the Raza on Scarlet Witch, just strips those cards off her, and then attacks with the
But
the Grim Reaper and just calls strength, strips the rest of his cards, and gets some stuff out of his hand.
and here's a great another thing I just saw. It looks like Carl also has his Grim Reaper, so this would be very fun. Now, if his instinct would be call energy, but that would give Eric the ability to take that 8 off and cycle it back to Doctor Strange, who can attack.
Yep.
Very interesting.
Yeah, this is going to be a really interesting last hand. I'm interested to see what Eric chooses to place. I mean, I think you just place them both. I don't think you go for it. There's no mystery left needed. You know,
Oh,
Carl was almost entirely in power pack this hand, so
yeah, absolutely. Unless this is last hand, you place it and yeah, give him the knowledge, but know that you have.
all right, we're just seeing some power cards get placed out. Carl puts the 7 on Spawn. He puts the 1 on Doctor Strange. Eric chooses to hide both of his cards in hand. Carl has to keep the Grim Reaper in hand. So Carl's
Yes,
making this bet in the blind without realizing the 2 cards
and
Eric has.
Carl ran correct, so Eric would essentially get to fire first.
Eric goes 3 and gives Carl the 8 power card. That is a rough draw.
Yes,
Carl's
it is.
deciding what to go. I'll be honest, I think Eric should have just gone the other 2 at this point. That would have been for the win. I would have just made him stuck in there.
Oh, absolutely. If you're in the power pack and you have essentially the ability to get rid of 6 cards, yeah, you go for the win.
So Carl actually goes 3 as well, gives him a 5 any power. Hits a keeper, which is surprising. And Eric's going to open with that penance stare. Carl doesn't like to see that. He just loses his ability to throw that teamwork and 2 power cards. He's going to fire right back with that Grim Reaper. Let's see what power type he calls. He calls
You,
energy, which I'm surprised about. I would have called intellect.
well, you don't want to give him that 8, but you have to know that your 7s and 6s are also in energy and that teamwork. So
So he fires in. What does he call?
he called strength.
He calls strength. I think it's a good call. He doesn't know
I
he
do
has
too.
that 8.
No, that's a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush, and he had 14 showing with strength. So good call.
Yeah, with the 8, unfortunately, you know it's going to hit. Um,
Yeah, it
well, I was definitely
looks
wrong about going for the win. It wouldn't have been the right thing to do.
well, not necessarily. If he had thrown Raza at spawn, that would have gotten 14 venture,
Yeah,
whereas
I think that's what I would have done differently.
Scarlet Witch only had 8 venture on her. So that looks like
He
that's the game right there.
That's the game. The handshake goes out.
Yeah. You were right. Once Doctor Strange is dead, Starjammers can't use those power cards. So it's not often you see Starjammers at the last hand or the last character alive.
I thought they
But
used the handshake, but it looks like they're gonna play it out. So
okay, yeah, that's strange.
they may
But
have already
you
agreed
know,
that the match is done, and they may just be throwing it. But we'll commentate this last hand. I mean, I don't.
sure.
I imagine we're gonna see at least 4 or 5 dupes for or unplayables from Eric with just the Starjammers left.
Now with the classic Cadillac, Starjammers bring so many bombs that they're almost certainly going to be the target that you have to take off the board. But you know, Eric played that artifact right out the gate, and just that one card gave Starjammers the survivability he needed.
For sure. So he drops an 8 energy and a 7 energy and a 3 multi and a 4 multi. Now the other thing and a 5. So he's only got 3 cards in his hand. Now the thing he's doing though that he shouldn't be doing, those should go to the dead pile. He can't ever use them again with the Starjammers. But I
Absolutely,
think
yeah,
I think this is I think he knows this is the last hand. I think Carl's going to go 4 for the win and pretty much just kill him right away.
yeah.
So he'll go 2 there. Nope, not going for the win.
It must be last hand.
Yeah, it could be that too, and he just doesn't need to worry about it. Yeah, Eric doesn't even have a 6. Carl's just gonna go 8-7 and kill him.
And that's another reason why people like to play Spawn instead of the Ray. And that's because Spawn and Jammers will have that 7 fight.
Right, that
Now
backup.
you're seeing the Jammers they don't even have a 7 to use. So and
And
that's it.
that's it. And then the official handshake, he's dead. Well, that was a great match. I'll say one thing about Eric. I didn't see him. Did you see him get a single royal family in his hand that entire match?
No, he didn't because he's not playing in Humans or Crystal.
Right. I'm sorry. He's doing the Ray. I'm thinking of Scott's deck that he's playing.
Yeah,
Um, right. Well,
an
that was a
astute
great match.
observation. Yeah, great. They both had their chances. Lots of swings, lots of hits, big slugfest, and we got to watch a great match with lots of violence.
Yeah, it was really just they're both Cadillac adjacent enough that it was really a matter of who was going to run out of steam first. So Eric's showing one of his other events that he's playing, and looks like they're having a little strategy chat about the artifact. But that
Yeah,
was a great match, and again, I believe that puts Carl at 2-0 and Eric at 1-1. So we'll see if Carl can maintain and make it into the champ of champs tomorrow.
absolutely. Now, for you, Joe, that is the Phoenix rises from the ashes. Remove all hits with an energy icon.
Yep.
That is interesting to see Eric playing, considering he plays so many energy cards.
Yeah, I'm not sure that is something that I would be playing. I mean, his multis, his most of his power cards, and then most of his teamworks are going to have those energy icons.
Absolutely. Now, his new lease on life, another event in that mission set, says he can reshuffle the power pack and the dead pile into the draw pile. Not a bad thing if you're playing any heroes, especially if they're playing a battle site, because they do not get to redraw cards from with their activators, whereas you would get all of your any hero buff. So a lot of cool stuff that you could do with that mission set.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's going to be it for this round, guys, and we will catch you in the next round.
See you guys
Thanks very
later,
much, Sean.
Joseph.